Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This loser movie critic doesn't like the idea that movies exist to make money. He's not very happy about that at all. Hello, lovely people of the internet, fellow horror nerds, geeks and weirdos, and beardy basement dwellers. It's I, Washak Myers. I'm doing another slash job on a lefty Hollywood movie review that I found on Rotten Tomatoes. So this is my ongoing series where I slay the reviewers. I tell them how it really is, and I give it to them straight, hard and straight, just like they don't like it, because there's nothing hard and there's nothing straight about people like Rob Hunter. I'm on form today. Rorschach's on fire, baby. Okay, so let's read this review. His site is called Film School Rejects, the kind of name that you would pick if you think that being a loser is cool. Well, sorry, Rob, being a loser is not cool. Despite what the movies have been telling you for 50 years, the ladies aren't all about the losers. They're really not. If only real life was like the movies, I'd have so many girls being a big old loser, says Rob Hunter. Okay, so let's read the review. On-screen carnage is far from a requirement of a cinema. Stellar oh my god, he's annoying me already. Stellar slices of terror can be made with or without bloody deaths. I don't even know what that means. It's just become words now. If you call you film Halloween Kills, you forgot the R, Rob. You better be prepared to back up that title with a heavy dose of blood red set pieces. That's what happens in this movie. There's 31 kills, isn't there? The follow-up to 2018's monster hit reboot, its self-sequel, yes, we know, delivers quite well on that front. Quite well? I say it exceeds expectations, mate. I mean, talk about damning with faint praise, which is exactly what he's going for here, I think. With a higher victim tally than any previous entry in the franchise. Unfortunately, that's the only element the film succeeds at, as the rest is a cynical cash grab. There you go, it's a cash grab. Making monies is bad. Why can't every movie be like every Disney movie and be about female empowerment rather than making money? It's terrible, isn't it, when a movie tries to give the audience what it wants and make money. No, we don't want to live in a world where everyone's just making money, because you get money free from the government anyway. What's the point of making it yourself when you can get furlough, right, Rob? God. Okay, so he doesn't like it being a cynical cash grab. Designed to separate fans from their money, yeah, like every movie that's ever existed, under the bullshit guise of horror that has to be about more than just genre thrills. Yeah, it's just words again now. First, a quick recap. No, we don't need the recap. He begins cutting an epic and bloody swathe through the progressive citizens, I think I'll add that, of Haddonfield. And with Laurie recuperating from surgery, the quest for vengeance falls to Karen, Alison, and an unruly and unlikely mob of drunk townsfolk. This being the middle film of a trilogy, you can probably guess how well that goes for them. Yeah, I did guess. That just because you know where a movie is going, it doesn't mean it's not going to be enjoyable. No, I knew what was going to happen at the end of Titanic. That boat was going to bloody sink, wasn't it? But, you know, quite a successful movie. But a cynical cash grab. Titanic, a cynical cash grab. The last point is one of the many problems with Halloween Kills. What was the last point? Doesn't like the mob. I see what's going on here. Another lefty reviewer, it doesn't like the mob because the mob points up a big old mirror to themselves. They've been supporting the mob for the last 2 years. So he doesn't like the mob. Probably doesn't like the message of the movie. It hits a little too close to home, I think. Okay. Blame rests with the inarguable talents spearheading these reboots. David Gordon Green, Danny McBride. They initially pitched the trilogy as one with a purpose. The implicit understanding was, the Star Wars, the last Star Wars, 3 Star Wars movies were pitched as a trilogy with a purpose. That didn't go so well, did it? I'm sure you're a big fan of those movies, though, weren't you, dude? Okay, so pitch the trilogy as one with a purpose, and you haven't seen the third act yet, anyway. So how do you know they don't all fit together perfectly? Which I'm sure will be what I'll be saying as I review Halloween Ends later on this year. So okay, so where was I? The implicit understanding was that Dewar had a 3-film storyline mapped out to bring this narrative to an epic close. While the 2018 film is a messy, poorly written mediocrity, well, you definitely saw a different movie than I did, because I didn't find it messy, poorly written or mediocre at all. Skating by on nostalgia and grew. No, I didn't watch 2018's Halloween because of nostalgia. I didn't watch it at all. I tell you why I watched 2018 Halloween, the 2018 Halloween movie, because I watched Halloween Kills. I thought that was great, and I went back. I got a DVD and watched it. You know, look at me. I'm someone who's all about nostalgia, right? So no, fake news. No, not nostalgia at all. It at least feels like a whole movie. My niece loves the Halloween movies. There's no nostalgia going on with my niece. She's very young. Halloween Kills is a different beast altogether, and instead consists of a generous filler. No, it doesn't. I don't think there's any filler in the movie at all. It's all killer, literally, no filler. And a set piece stretched to feature length. The entirety of the film should have been a single sequence in the sequel. Who are you to tell the filmmaker how to make his movie, dude? If you were so good, you wouldn't be a bloody... It says up here, you can't see it, can you? It says a film school reject. So the film school reject is going to tell how these talented directors and writers, inarguable talents, in his own words, how to make the movie. The entirety of this film should have been single sequence, but greed is good, and green is God. Again, yeah, these people have had it so easy in life, haven't they? That they don't understand that the entire purpose of life is to gain resources. Why do you need to gain resources if you're a dude? Well, if you get lots of resources, you got lots of ladies. They've forgotten that, haven't they? The actual meaning of life. Okay, let me explain it to you lefties out there. The meaning of life, if you're a dude. Have babies. How do you have babies? Impress the ladies. How do you impress the ladies? Get a lot of stuff. How do you get a lot of stuff? You become successful in your line of work. You make good movies. You set up a plumbing business. You become the best electrician in town, and then you become a footballer. And then you get to pick a nice lady, and a lady with a nice, a personality. And you get to have lovely kids. That's the entire point of male existence. And if you need to gain resources to spread your genes, greed is indeed good, and green is God. Yeah. I think he might be saying that ironically, though. I don't think he understands, does he? I don't think this reject understands anything, really. Flashbacks take up a solid chunk of time as we see Officer... Oh, he's just recapping the plot again. Anything interesting here? I don't want to read it all. I'm getting a bit fed up with it now. Do any of them add a goddamn thing to Halloween Kills? The script wants to convince you otherwise. What? The script wants to convince you otherwise. Everyone blames himself for something or other. The twin themes here are guilt and trauma, but not a single lick of it earns drama or interest. Well, it certainly earned my interest, and I thought it was very dramatic. What it does do is keep Laurie on the sidelines. Oh no, not another reviewer complaining that the elderly lady in the hospital should have been on the front lines swinging a baseball bat. Dude, you probably get that in the next movie. You'll get the pensioner beating up the large man with a knife in Halloween Ends. So don't soil your bridges. Don't get them in a sloppy twist. You'll find that Laurie is not on the sidelines in the next movie. Okay, and the mob in search of justice. And while both Gloria and Maciek are strong actors, they're both tasked with playing increasingly stupid characters. It's just difficult to root for idiots. You can't be very good at watching other movies then, because there's lots of idiots in every other movie that's ever been made. Speaking of leftists, let's highlight that. Speaking of leftist movie reviewers, we just can't bring ourselves to care about the bulk of the film sits on the shoulders of newcomer strangers and some familiar faces as the town of Haddonfield finally decided they've had enough of the Michael character. It seems the entire community is suffering from trauma and has been for 40 years. Yeah, tapping into the idea that trauma causes you to act as a mob rather than individuals. Very resonant today, wouldn't you think, dude? This, even though many of them, you know, trauma, the coof, mob, that, you know, trauma and mobs couldn't get any more resonant, really. This, even though many of them have to be reminded that the original killings even happened at all. Okay, Tommy Doyle. Does he not like the Tommy Doyle character? I don't want to keep on reading. This review is kind of annoying me. Okay, so let's just do the last bit here. Look at that soy face he's doing there. What's frustrating about it all is that Green is a wildly talented filmmaker. Oh, I'm very disappointed in you, says Mommy Rob. He crafts some cat and mouse sequences well among cinematographer Michael Simmons, editor Timothy Alverson, but they're in service of a script that a junk. A script that's a junk? No, it's a script that's utter joy. It was a pleasure from beginning to end. 31 kills. I enjoyed each and every one of them. Elevates you from the character that matters with worthless flashbacks, cheeky nostalgia. Yeah, nostalgia is bad. And a Donald Pleasance lookalike, unless you're doing Star Wars. A Donald Pleasance lookalike sound like, yeah, it was really good. He was. Similarly, the score by John Carpenter, his son Cody, and Daniel A. Davis is so deceptively great. You almost think you're watching an equally good slasher. You're not. Okay, so he ends the review there on quite an interesting point here, really. He's saying that you might leave the cinema thinking that you just watched a great movie, but he wants to convince you in this review that about 10 people will be looking at that no, you haven't watched a good movie. You haven't watched a good movie. It's a terrible cash grab. It's a movie that's trying to make money. It's a movie that doesn't have female empowerment because the old age pensioner is stuck in the hospital throughout the entire thing. And I don't like the idea of looking at trauma and mobs, because that hits a bit too close to home, doesn't it, Rob? Doesn't it, Rob? So there we go. That's another lefty review destroyed by Ben Shapiro Rorschach on the internet. Am I ever going to find a review that comes from a more based perspective? Probably not, but the search continues. Thanks for checking us out. Give us a like and a sub if you'd be so kind. Cheers, take care. I'll catch you all later. Oh, Rob, you ready to cut down on the soy lattes?